What's up, everyone? It's always a blessing when I have this guest on. He's a professor, he's a leader at Villanova University. He's written books on education and he's just written a book on relationships. Successful husband and educator, author, role model all the way around. And I enjoy speaking with him every time we have him. It's like his fourth time here. And extra excited because my niece, Miss Ayanna Jones, she be here to kind of take away and get some knowledge herself and ask questions, and that's going to be great. Amazing watching her come up as a great personality in the podcast business and broadcasting. So today we're going to speak with Dr. Stephen Jones. Dr. Stephen Jones. And as I say, he's been here several times, and he returns, and we look forward to hearing what he has to say. We speak on relationships and love and a whole lot of other things. So just kick back, get you something to sip on, and listen to the man. I'm Roy Washington. This is The Quest. And as you should have guessed, and you should know by now, we got you locked in. That's what we do here. God bless. Milwaukee. This is my city. This is my home. Milwaukee. Home of Quest Nation. My home. Home of Giannis. Home of Quest Nation. Milwaukee. It is my pleasure to interview legends in music, education, authors, people knowledgeable of current events, legends in the paranormal field, and up-and-coming legends. It's my duty and my honor to spotlight upcoming great indie independent artists. Milwaukee. And I stretch my arms, Quest stretch arms, worldwide, across the globe, to talk to the very best. I'm Roy Washington. This is The Quest. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you should already know. We got you locked in.
The invitation that we sent out for the fight. We sent out the invitation. Okay.
Dr. Jones.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
Boy, good.
All right. Ayanna, good?
Test.
Hello, Ayanna. Ayanna.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? What'd you say?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear Dr. Jones? Say something, Dr. Jones.
Hello.
Hi.
All right. Good to have everyone here. Dr. Jones, it's been a minute, but I'd like to thank you for this. This is your fourth time with me. Thank you.
Well, Well, you're welcome. I'm more than pleased to be a part of it.
Right, this is The Quest. And I have a special co-host, Ayanna Jones. She's a brand new podcaster, going to be doing big things in the podcasting world. And Ayanna, tell us a little bit about your podcast.
So the name of it is Toxic Recovery. I just feel like I've been through a lot of toxic behavior and things of that nature. So it just spoke to my heart to be in recovery from that, and also do it on a platform that allows other people to have the conversation, and just, come to knowledge or come to understanding with me on that journey, or bring me to new understanding, because I'm also a student. I love learning. So just, opening myself up to that mental health journey.
Yes, that's my niece there. Very proud of her.
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
And we have Dr. Stephen Jones of Villanova University. During the basketball season, he's the enemy. But but we really appreciate him. How you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. Just like I mentioned, was in a meeting. We had something called the Pennsylvania Black Conference on Higher Ed, and we as educators across the state of Pennsylvania, both the educators, administrators, and faculty, and students, our goal is to encourage African American students to be successful throughout the state, and by linking up, we can help each other with that goal. And so we were having our annual planning meeting for the next year today for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I got myself together to jump on this. So that's the life of an educator.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank you for your diligence.
Yes.
Thank you very much. When I first met you, you were to catch Ayanna up a little bit. You written 3 books on education and on ways to find some of those scholarships and grants that we wouldn't even look. But he was sharing all kind of stuff, how to read the back of a syrup bottle. You might find something there. Those shows are just valuable, and I had a lot of people listen to them especially who have kids who are still in the educational system. Ayanna, you still might want to continue your education. Dr. Jones is the man.
Sounds like it.
Thank you kindly. One of the things I can share right now, I don't know whether I share this or not, but I just want to make sure students are aware of graduate assistantships. And reason why I think that that's so important is as an undergrad, when I went to school, I was the first person in my family to go to college, and no one told me about graduate school. And when my advisor said, "Are you going to graduate school?" I was like, "What is that?" And so I still find that there are many first-generation college students who don't know that there's an opportunity to go to graduate school, as well as you can go for free the graduate assistantship, where the university actually pays you and you do some things within their offices, or you might do some teaching. And this graduate assistantship can pay anywhere between $25,000 to $35,000 a year, plus your tuition is paid for. So it's a great opportunity for you to go and get your master's degree for free, or your doctorate degree for free, by going after these graduate assistantships. The departments have them sometimes, and the admissions offices of the graduate schools have them as well.
Okay. And is it I'm asking this question, but is it ever too late for somebody who's really gotten up in age if they want to go back and get an extra skill or something like that?
It's never too late to go. There are several women and men over the last few days of graduation I've seen where they were 75 and 85 and they finished their bachelor's degree. So I always say, it's never too late. If they can do it, others can do it. There was a woman who had 6 children, and she earned a doctorate degree. She was homeless, and then she got herself together. She decided she was going to not live like this anymore, and she continued to pursue her education. And now she has that doctorate degree. So it can be done.
Wow.
That's amazing right there. Do Villanova have some type of on-campus paper or some kind of publication that keeps people up on news like that?
Usually through the websites. You actually go through the websites. We have a financial aid section of our website that talks about that. Graduate school admissions is a little bit different. You would talk directly to the graduate school admissions person about their scholarships and grants. And undergrad has their own as well. Everything has a deadline. That's the thing that really often gets students stuck. They don't have the deadline, and they could have been eligible for $30,000, $50,000, $75,000, but they missed the deadline. So I always say, when you first come into high school, you should be outlining and putting in folders scholarship information. So by the time you're in your junior year, you have all your dates, you know when everything is due, and you can get things done ahead of time and not wait till the last minute.
Good information there. Seems like things are starting to open up now. We had a crazy year last year. And what was it like for you during 2020?
Well, I will say that we were blessed in a way in that our campus allowed us to come to work 3 days a week. We worked from home 2 days a week. We had about 75% of the students on campus. They were on campus, but they were online for the most part. About 75-80% of them were online and on campus. And then we do have students in labs sometimes meeting with one another. And all my meetings, even with the students, were online. So my staff meetings, my organization meetings on campus, they were all done online. So now this year, we're all coming back to campus. And I got to notice that we all have to, students, faculty, and staff had to have their vaccination before they come back to campus.
Okay.
And it just made it universal. There may be some students that say, hey, I'm not coming, or I'm withdrawing, but that's the standard that the president decided to set up. And I think it will keep everybody safe. When students come to college anyway, they have to have vaccinations. There's 3 or 4 vaccinations they have to prove that they have. So this will be one more. And this has only been a problem because of political football that it became.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think people are just, no, it's just another vaccination. I'm proof I got it and I'm in. So people have to make decisions, and safety of everybody is of utmost importance. And then faculty don't want mixtures of students in their classes. They want to feel comfortable that everybody has done the same thing.
All right, so now everybody's starting to come back. We've had graduation now, so is everything over there as far as for this school year right now?
Yeah, we had graduation. We did have it outside on the football field. The chairs were all set 6 feet apart. You had some students wearing masks, some students not wearing masks, a blend of that. And 2 parents for each graduate, and it went smoothly. They made it happen. The weather was beautiful that day, so we're thankful. They're thankful because last year was just such a bad experience in terms of no one could do their graduations. We had like the president and online to confer their degrees, but they are talking about having them back on alumni weekend this coming semester. If any of those who did not walk in the graduation could still come and hang out with us. So we'll see what happens with that. But we were committed to making it happen this year.
You said something about 2 parents?
Yeah, in the graduation, each student that was graduating could bring 2 parents to the graduation. They couldn't bring their whole family.
Oh.
We have everybody. It doesn't matter. Anybody that wants to come, but not this year.
Did you ever hear about the Isaiah Thomas his situation where he was in the playoffs, putting the Atlanta Hawks out of the playoffs years ago, and the same day it was a Mother's Day. The same day his mother was walking across the stage for him at Indiana University, accepting his certificate. But it was special because coming up, she didn't get she wasn't allowed to walk across the stage at high school level anything, you know. So it was a special time for her to experience that and get that for her son. And he was telling that story. I thought it was a great story.
Yes. Yeah, those are ways, different creative ways to celebrate. And that I'm sure she's still, if she's alive, she still feels inspired to this day with that.
Yes. So around the house during 2020, how did you guys stay sane?
Well, my wife came home. She's a nurse, and she worked in, we had some spaces. We created spaces for our offices, and she loves the idea of being home, because it's just not all the going downtown and all the hustle bustle of that. And actually, you can work longer hours by being home, because you're not getting on transportation. I think the companies are realizing that now. They're like, oh man, we thought people would go home and be lazy and they wouldn't do their work and we'd be after them. But people have become more efficient at home, less distracted, they've gotten more done. They've done some research on it already, and companies are benefiting. That's why a lot of the companies aren't even going to buy as much space as they normally would, because they're allowing more of their employees to work at home. I think in the articles I was reading, they were saying that this would happen around 2030, but suddenly because of COVID-19, we started sending more employees home and trusting that they would get their work done, and they did get their work done. So we love each other. This is our 34th year of marriage, so we just hung out with each other and did the right thing and sharing. And we had our children very often on FaceTime, keeping up with them and what they were doing. Our daughter's in Chicago working her doctorate degree at Northwestern. So we could FaceTime her every day and see what was going on and whether the university was open and all that. And she's managed to get through this year. So we're thankful to God for that blessing. She has 2 more years to go. And then my son works downtown Philadelphia. So he's funny. He says he's coming and checking on his more senior parents now. We are not, and I will say, we are not walking around with canes or anything. He's like, I'm checking on my parents. Crazy.
Yeah, you look to be very fit and everything. And you're also, when did you finish the new book?
I finished the new book in February. So it's been steadily rolling out to different churches, and we do a lot of, so the title of the book is The 10 Keys to a Successful Marriage. So I take those 34 years of experience and put it in a book so that both those who are engaged and those who are already married can use this manual to give them some guidance in terms of communication and forgiveness and loving each other, and intimacy, managing your finances. Did you know most marriages break up over the finances? For the most part, we pick the right person, but finances become a critical issue in a marriage. So managing and actually having a budget, finding out how each other spends. You get the couple together and both of them are spenders. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Especially the women.
Yeah. Well, it can be both. It can be both, especially. And then you can actually have one person in the marriage who is a thrifty person and one who's a spender. And that comes into conflict with one another. So you have to have a plan. You have to work as a team and ensure that the love is thriving in your home. That's kind of the goal. And in the book, I use a lot of biblical principles. There's like 100 scriptures in the back that gives the biblical background for just living. And I want people to actually write in the book, so there's some things that they can write and have conversations around. And the whole idea is, dialogue helps you to kind of clarify some things. Sometimes that's engaged is so enthusiastic about their engagement, they don't discuss some critical issues.
Yes.
And hopefully through this book, they'll bring up some of those things in the conversation. And I know a lot of churches actually have their own marriage ministry where once a month, the married couples come together for some type of gathering and sharing of knowledge. Some of them actually have a marital counseling ministry as well, where they're giving resources and these kinds of books for that use as well. And then there's those who are professional marriage counselors. That's what they do as a profession. And so this is kind of a resource for them. So this is, my other books are more educational, and how to study, scholarships. I have a parents book for parents who have children, basically birth through 12th grade. How do I, as a parent, help my child to earn A grades? And I do have another book that's on how to study the Bible. So the last two have been kind of in that biblical direction. My next book is going to be on science, technology, engineering, and math. It's going to be a STEM workbook with a bunch of exercises and activities for families that really have children who are interested in the science and technology. And so much of work today is influenced by technology.
Yes.
Everything that we do, cars, the food that we eat, the medicines, the on and on, technology, surgeries that you go to, robots are doing the surgeries,
Yes.
drones flying and delivering products, drones trekking bridges, it's just on and on. This technology needs to be managed by everybody. It needs to be run by everybody. The databases, we need individuals to do cybersecurity to keep us safe. You saw, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, they had the oil situation where they had broken in and no one on the East Coast was getting oil because the cybersecurity had a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was something else this week. I forget what it was, but there was another one. There's another break-in this week. So it just lets you know we need professionals trained in those areas. And even though I'm definitely about college degrees, there's some training programs that individuals can go into, whether it's to be a plumber, a mason, electrician, dental assistant, medical assistant. There are other kinds of training programs as well. I just want individuals to get as much education, because education opens door. Education determines occupation, and occupation determines income. So the more that you're increasing your knowledge and your occupation, the greater opportunity will be for you.
All right. I had a question. I'm gonna wait till Ayana gets back for that one. Then that talks more to the importance of premarital counseling. So, because I think if you're dating somebody, you don't really. It's something. Maybe you think it's normal that with certain questions we wouldn't ask on our own, or we wouldn't get as deep on our own. That's why that premarital counseling, somebody who's looking in can ask those tough questions, and we have those tough conversations. So later on in life, it don't come back to bite us.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on point that having those conversations during the engagement period actually gives you a lot more freedom, because you now understand that person better, and you understand that one of the things that can happen is there are things that you are bothered by or annoyed by in the relationship, and you feel that once I'm married to this person, it's going to change and get better. But that's the wrong thought. It's going to seem even bigger and worse because you're spending more time with that person. And it's going to seem more magnified than when you're just coming together for the counseling session. So that's, again, a benefit of having the counselor asking these various questions and driving home some things around how to forgive one another, for example, how to love one another, having those conversations up front. And when we were in session ourselves, the counselor talked about the person that's the wall and the person that's the open door. And that open door is a person that is very extroverted, very friendly, and the person that has a wall that has a barrier for you to communicate to them, and they will, not easily let you in. So you're going to be working at it the whole time. And so how do you want your relationship to be is what people need to know. Like what they see is for real. It's not something that will go away. That's who this person has been for the last 25, 30 years. And so accepting that, are you going to accept that? Are you going to accept that this is not a person who is perfect? You're not perfect as the potential husband, and she's not perfect as a potential wife. Are you willing to accept that? or are you expecting perfection, which no one can give except Jesus Christ himself? So that's the perspective that I kind of take with that.
Well, you weren't expecting perfection, was you?
Say that again?
You weren't expecting perfection, were you? Hello?
Hello, I'm not hearing you.
Well, I say, so when you're talking about perfection, and in your case, expecting perfection?
Oh, no. Okay, I wasn't expecting her to be perfect, and she wasn't expecting me to be perfect. That's what, again, that was part of the conversation. Our pastor always preached that no one is perfect, that we all are striving in that direction. God's giving us direction and a plan on how to do that. But we're also influenced by our experiences daily, that in terms of how we respond to each other, the stresses of our lives, and adjusting to that within the relationship becomes really important. And you can see some of that. Well, here's another part of that. You can't find that out in a month of relationships that's been together a month.
Right.
You need time to really see them in action. You need time to visit them with their family and see what their family is like. Because that's another thing. Like, you may say, I'm marrying this person, but this person has a family, and they may be called up on this issue and that issue. And now you weren't expecting that, and you don't want to adjust to that, like the issues that their family is experiencing, that comes along with them, and that they're pulled in that direction. They might be the oldest child in the family, and they have even heavier weights to deal with. So just being ready for that is part of the conversations that you need to have. My wife is so funny. She says, if you go to the house and you meet a lot of people who are acting crazy, be concerned. Be concerned. You may not have seen it in this particular person that you're dating, but be concerned. Be aware that that's real.
The right.
A beautiful young bachelorette like my niece there. What are some of the things that you that like if you was talking to her and some other young ladies, what's some of the key things you think they should look for as far as somebody approaching them and them choosing the date? Is there there's some things we as men don't do that are lost art? You know what I'm saying, that we don't do no more that we used to do?
Well, there's the typical things that you expect him to treat her like. I treat my wife like she's the queen. And so that person, you should expect that person to treat you special, the person to be kind, the person to be a good listener. If you get into the relationship and they're doing all the talking, you can't get a word in. It's not a two, it's not two in a relationship. It's one that's really stuck on themselves. Communication, listening, are they a good listener when you share with them a problem? Sometimes you don't need someone to solve your problem. This is what some of the research too. Women don't always look for men to solve the problem. Sometimes they just want you to listen. And I had to learn that. Like, I'm definitely a problem solver type person, but I had to learn to listen and just be available to listen. And I realized that gave her so much joy that I was just listening. And then when she wanted a solution, she would ask me, what do you think we should do? Or what do you think I should do? And that takes patience. And then the ability to have respect for the person that you're dating, that you want to make sure that you have their best interest in mind and you respect them. You respect their gifts and talents. That you're not, here's the other thing, you are not competing with this person that you're dating. Who is the best person. You're in a mutual relationship that's coming together with different strengths that you bring to the table to encourage and build each other up. Just seeing that. Now this is going to sound old-fashioned, but I still think that people should write letters to each other. Like just sharing out of their mind and out of their heart. I mean, you put it on paper, it just brings a whole nother level of communication. So just
Wow.
that, you know, I when I was dating my wife, I wrote letters here and there. She wrote letters back to me. So, you know, even though you're seeing them, the expression, like that said something that you took time to make happen. So just those special touches, I think. And your niece is beautiful. She, you know, she deserves the best.
Yes, she do.
Anything second to that.
You were trying to say something, Ayana? I think she's freezing up.
Oh, she froze. You froze.
I
Ayana?
know my signal is messing up. Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. Hi, I'm back.
Yes.
I am
Did you hear
having
me?
such a random time.
Uh-oh. So yeah, Dr. Jones, thank you for that, because the writing letters, that I would never have thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I still do that to this day. Oh, okay.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
you are.
It's working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Did you have a response to Dr. Jones?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, okay.
They're freezing on me too, like, so when I'm like, you guys can't hear me or whatever, everything stopped. It's like complete silence.
No, I said that you were beautiful,
Oh, thank you.
deserve the best, and don't settle for anything less. If someone comes to you and the things that you see are true, don't deny what you're seeing, what you're hearing from this person, and what their activities are. Those things are true. Sometimes, you know, women or men are in denial of what they see or what they experience because they want to be in the relationship, but it's still not the best relationship for them. So just doing that. And I had said that when I was dating my wife, I wrote letters to her. And even to this day, I still write letters. That's a great way to communicate your heart, where your experience. It means you sat down and thought about what you wanted to communicate to this person. And, you know, I think it's a great way to kind of open yourself up, to be more of an open book. So not a requirement, but it's just something that I have done, and it has been good over the years to spend time sharing that. This is our 34th year, like I said. So we try to the table when we're talking as well.
Oh, wait.
She's still having problems.
Yeah, I think she's trying to get on another.
Yeah. But Dr. Jones, let me see what you think about this. One time, I was dating somebody, and she loved it. I came up with this thing. I was like,
Okay.
yeah. You there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is better.
I said, let me just join with my phone. This is not working for me right now.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
good.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, he just dropped some knowledge on us.
I
Well,
heard that he wrote letters and I heard the ideology behind it. And it's like the whole time I've been listening, soaking up information. First off, I want to say hats off for even being part of the educational system. I have my child. I am not called to help the kids, but I do know they need to be educated. So hats off to that. Your wife is a nurse. Hats off to her. That is amazing. So she's out there frontlining too. So like the whole relationship, amazing. And I know it's a relationship of patience, because for you to be in the education system and her to be in the medical field, it's like, okay, the Bill Cosby's, if I've never seen it before. But but the fact that you also like look back not only with education, but you talk about the relationship part, it's amazing, because it's like, thank you for teaching standards, you know, and boundaries, and showing that it's okay to just have these flaws, but then knowing how to work those quirks out. So not condemn people and make them upset or, you know, make them offended, but like just teaching with love. And then I love the idea of notes, because in my last relationship that we exhausted all possibilities. But that's one of the things we try personally, was just like writing letters when we don't have the words. And then that gave us time to like really really get to what we meant to say through all the emotions of like reacting to the things that just happened. So I tried to catch it all before I switched to the phone, but I did agree with the letter method. I like that method a lot.
The last time I heard that term exhausted the possibilities, that was Love Jones. Remember that movie?
Yeah, come on, it's the Jones thing. Anything with the Jones.
Yes, absolutely. How ironic is that? Both of us have the last name of Jones.
Yeah.
It's my long lost cousin.
There you go. I claim it.
But Dr. Jones, I remember for this one relationship, I used to just make up coupons, and I'll be like, give her a coupon here and there. This, you can redeem this for a movie date or whatever. She thought that was so great. What do you think about that, Dr. Jones?
Yes,
that's
awesome.
Cute.
Yeah. Well, and that's, again, we call it a rain check, where my wife and I say, we were planning on doing something and we weren't able to do it, but I'm going to give you a rain check so we can get back together during this time and hang out and do whatever. And that's just how we have, continue to reassure each other that I'm not just ignoring what your request was, but let's do it at another time. And that's worked out really well, because if you don't do that, and people feel ignored, like you just didn't want to do it, you didn't want to show up and be a part. No, this wasn't the right time, but yes, there is a right time for everything under the sun. I like that. Unique way. I might have used that one on her. And that's the other. You never arrive. Like you never. Even after 34 years, there's still new things that we can do, new ways to make things creative. And we're empty nesters now. My son is living in one place, my daughter is in another. So we do have more time for one another. And it's kind of really, when you look at it, it's so amazing that you get married, the average couple has a child after like the third or fourth year.
Okay.
Marriage. So you've only spent a short amount of time, just you and that person. And now for 20 to 25 years, you have these children in the house, if not more. And then all of a sudden, they're gone. Like, do you have a relationship? So the other thing that's in this book is talking about the importance of having a relationship between the two of you, of dating each other, of going out, just the two of you, spending time, giving the children to another family member to watch, so that you can spend time together and know who each other are. Because you could get to that point where all the children out of the house, you can't even relate to one another. I have seen lately a number of couples who've been married 25 and 30 years getting divorced because they don't know each other.
Yeah.
They've been so busy in the midst of it. But here's the funny thing too, since COVID-19 happened, and a lot of couples that have been home, have got to know each other. Because normally they'd be working throughout the day, or they might have an evening, and then on the weekend they might spend a little time together, but they have events that they're attending. Sunday, if they do worship, they might go have a church service and those kind of things. So you really are not spending that quality time. Well, here COVID comes. All the children are home, the parents are home, the dogs are like going crazy. Like, why are these people home? Because I usually had a house to myself. Okay.
You can't tear up the couch.
Right. So it's like just getting it together as a family and communicating, better and showing more patience with one another. So COVID-19 has been very, very interesting, challenging, and it turned us into doing things differently than we've ever done things, I think.
True.
Yeah, I was watching. Go ahead, I am.
Oh, I was just going to say, very true. I've seen a lot of people turning, especially African-American, turning to different therapists and counselors and wanting to just work out whatever it is that they're going through instead of fighting it and just calling it normal. And I've seen a lot of people just like take steps toward what's really happening, being mindful, like right in the right now, and trying to make that better, versus being so upset and reacting to what they've been through and their past hurts. It's like, okay, but am I still hurting? Let me do a check-in, So that's what I've known.
And it's important for both the man and the woman. Sometimes the men are the most resistant to the counseling, but the couple needs.
I kind of feel like that's conditioning, but I do understand. Because you guys can't have emotions.
Right. Yeah. It's like a sign of weakness that I'm.
Yeah.
Like,
For some reason, I have no clue why.
It's American culture for sure. But yeah, like it's a wise couple. Just like I tell students in college that it's important to get a tutor. It's a wise couple that goes for counseling because you need a new person from the outside to give you perspective so that you're not attacking each other. One of the things we said in our marriage is that we're going to attack the problem, not each other. We identify the problem. This is the problem. This is the situation. What can we do to change that? Not attacking each other.
Yeah.
We want to use a different approach. And I also had to learn to compromise and say, maybe her approach is the right way this time. Maybe my approach is the right way the next time.
Yes.
You have to be open to that as well. You know, here's a funny thing too. So I have a master's degree, and I work with engineering students all the time, but my background is in counseling ministry.
Okay.
I have an MBA, Master's of Business Administration, but my wife is the financial officer of our house. She manages the finances. So I had to relinquish that to her, even though I have the degree, because she is more detailed and talented in that area. So I was like, okay, I'm turning this over to you.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Now, with that strength and power, because to me that takes strength and power to do that, do you feel like that wisdom came over time with experience, or did you like learn to like detach from those things, stuff like that, you being knowledgeable in the area, or on paper looking more knowledgeable in the area, but then relinquishing the rights or the power over to someone who you love? It's like in that area where you like not attached to it. And I guess like what I'm trying to ask is like, how do you not take that personal and then somehow like make that not define who you are or define something about you by giving her the power over that?
Yeah, so again, that's about going into the relationship with that approach that is the strength of each person in the relationship, and not the role, the quote unquote role that you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
That's the most talented person in the family to do a certain thing. And we had to not, here's a good word, don't let your pride get in the way of what is in the best interest of your family.
Ooh, I like it.
I think a lot of men are operating in pride, like what's, because they want to be lifted, they want to be the king.
And it's like misguided pride, right? Because like if they knew a little more, or they understood on the other side, I'm not leading you the wrong way, or I got this planned out like pretty good, like just trust me, then it'll be like, okay, you can have pride in me or faith in me that I wouldn't do that. So like, and
also I trust her. Like I had to marry someone that I really trust, and she's not going to try to embezzle the money from the family. She's going to make sure that it's managed because it's going to benefit ultimately both of us.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to turn it over to her. I will say that we have a family budget that is written down on paper. She actually has a book, a binder that she uses to keep track of everything. And when I was trying to manage the budget and trying to manage my university and working on a doctorate degree, she realized I couldn't do it, and
she had help.
Trying to be prideful and hold on to it. And she's like, "Let me show you what's happening to the budget." And when what could I say? So I had to submit to that. And I love her for taking the initiative to do that, because she could have just said, "Well, I don't know what to do. I don't feel like I can communicate with him." So that all worked out for the good.
How do you? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask one more question. How do you, like in your actual experience with you and your wife, how do you remember getting over those trust wavering moments where you felt like, can I trust you? Or this right here has completely violated my trust and we got to rebuild it. Like, how do you remember getting through those moments? Did you have like a mentor? Did you have like a coach? Did you have friends? Did you have a foundation with your bestie? I don't know. Like, how did you get through those?
We both have our own counselors, people that we turn to, that we can trust. But we trust each other so much that we're willing to work things out together and have conversations. And I think you had to identify to have those conversations at the right time, not while you're angry and upset, that this is not the best time, but we will have the conversation. It's sometimes important because you just, your emotions are too tied into the conversation that you can't move forward and you can't get things done as a couple.
All right, dropping jewels. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's what I love having him. He's always dropping jewels. First of all, tell your wife I said thanks for her service. I mean, that's one thing I had to kind of get used to because me being a military person, I'm used to people telling me that, but now I had to start telling people in the medical field thanks for your service because it was 2020 was crazy, and I was wondering if she ever, whenever she had to go on campus there to work, did she ever come back with any horror stories?
No. So my wife, when she worked in the hospital, she did critical care, intensive care. She did the floor. She did heart patients, jumped on people's chests to bring them to life.
Okay.
She was that person. But last, I would say 10 years, she's been a case manager. And what she does now is she calls up the patients who are coming out of the hospital to make sure they're getting all the services that Blue Cross provides. So she is a caretaker from a distance and making sure that everything, and what Blue Cross has identified is that if we're helping them to come out of the hospital and not go back, then we're not paying additional costs and we're caring for those people who we serve. So she gets to serve a lot of people. She now does the case manager and she manages case managers as well. She could do that from home and not deal with the stress of having to go out. I think she told me.
Thank God. Said thank God for that.
I'm blessed because in her younger age, then when she got out of college, we were like 27 or 24. And so all that time up until about 45, she was working in hospitals, like physically there. And so the amazing thing is that she wasn't there, but she still served a lot of the nurses who were serving. She's part of a sorority of nurses, and they connect with each other and support each other, and they go out to the community to have blood pressure. They take blood pressures, they promote health in the community, have weight loss, and whatever they can do help.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, so they volunteer in the community centers around Philadelphia as a sorority. And so she's been able to still keep her foot in the in the industry through that.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to wrap up in a few minutes.
Oh no! I feel like I just
started.
Yeah.
How's the weather out there in Philadelphia?
It's about 75 degrees today and beautiful. It's raining this morning, but it's beautiful right now. Sun is out. Degrees.
Ayana, let me tell you what the real weather is like out there in Philadelphia. It's gloomy out there. Joel Embiid is down.
Yeah.
And they saying the winner of the Nets and Bucks is probably going to be eventual champions, right?
Oh my goodness! Here you go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, we'll see how I think they're going to try to play without him a few games, and hopefully they can still glide through. It's rough. He's so talented. It's just like so ridiculous every time something happens to him.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Hey, we were talking earlier yesterday. Ayan and I was talking about, and I kind of gave you a heads up. These fans that's been acting crazy at these sporting events. What are your thoughts on that? As far as somebody spilling popcorn on Russell Westbrook or spitting on Trae Young, have we been locked down so long that now it's just like we get that freedom again and we just lost our minds?
Yeah, A. Yes, people have lost their minds. They're out. They limited the number of people, but as they increase the number of people, we have different blends of people there. Plus, the whole attitude, the culture around racism, discrimination that was promoted during the last presidency, that's in the atmosphere. So you'll see some of that at their various events where people express themselves and think that they're empowered to do that. But they will be put out of the stadium and no longer be able to ever come back to the game. And I appreciate that part of it, that there's some accountability. We're not just gonna pat them on the hand and say, come back, we need your money. No, you should be banned for eternity.
Banned.
Yeah. Yes.
I did want to show, I don't know if you can see it, but this is the marriage book. You can kind of see it.
Okay, yeah, just a little higher.
A little higher, okay. See, it disappears when I bring it too high.
Yeah, okay. How can some listener get that?
So they can go to my website, and I will put that. Do you want to put that in the chat? Or they can actually, I'll share what the website is. It's www.drjonesbooks.com. So that's DRJONESBOOKS.com. And if you go to there, at the top of the tab, it'll say marriage. Just click on that. It'll take you to the marriage book. Or if you want the study skills book, click on that. It'll take you to the study skills book. So those are all there on the website.
Yeah, thanks for spelling that out too, Dr. Jones. I thought it was BOOKZ as far as books.
No, you did.
Yeah. Yeah, she had to help me. She had to help me spell a word yesterday too. What word was that?
Class.
Yeah, my niece. She's one of a kind, and shout out to Isaiah as well. Isaiah's doing great. Dr. Jones, I think you'll really be proud of him as well. I'm very proud of these two.
How old is he?
Yeah.
He'll be 25.
Okay, excellent.
He was born in 96. He'll be 25.
What's that company he works for?
Morgan Stanley.
Nice.
He's been with them out of college. He graduated summa cum laude at Jackson State in finance.
Awesome.
School of business.
My daughter turned 25 this year. My son is 30.
Okay.
I'm 30. That's right. That's wildlife. That's me and my brother.
Yeah. So now as things are opening back up, have you been entertaining or how's that going for you, Dr. Jones?
We've been more so going to people's houses.
Same.
They're all telling us they all have their different shots, the vaccine. So we have some friends near us. They're mainly from Nigeria. They're Americans, but their family's from Nigeria. So we've been hanging out with them. And just a few friends here and there. Nothing really big. In fact, actually tonight, I have an adopted daughter that is having a surprise proposal party. So it's an engagement.
That's gonna be nice.
So we have a boat here in Philadelphia called the Mushalu. It's a restaurant, but it's on the water. It's a boat that's on the water. So they're doing the proposal. My wife and I are going down there for that proposal. So get out.
I hope I see it on social media. It sounds like it's going to be beautiful.
Yes. If it stays like it is, and as far as I know it is, it's going to be very beautiful.
I have a couple questions I have to ask for. It's a couple movements that I've been following. For one, and we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. What are your thoughts? And y'all want to get your thoughts on this too when he's done. On remember the Steven Seagal movies, and he always have these movies where he's battling some company that's dumping toxic waste into the oceans and kind of destroying our our habitat. What are your thoughts on these companies dumping oil and stuff in the sea and all that? This is the crazy stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, of course, since I'm in the College of Engineering, we are always, trying to protect the environment. They're so important that this. So I think people think that it's only harming this section of where I produce this, but it spreads and it affects thousands of lives. Just like right now, there is this under the ocean, there is this pathway that travels around the globe, and this pathway now has all kinds of plastics in it, and it's just going around, circling around the globe, gathering more plastic and more plastic. Even though the ocean seems to be bottomless, it is not bottomless. Like, we're creating a bad environment. And it can't be just about our present. It has to be about our future, that we're taking care of our future, not just right now. A ship right now that has is sinking, and it's leaking oil, and it's leaking these plastic pellets that they use for different types of products. And it's very difficult to keep the environment safe when these hazardous situations happen. So I am totally for all those that support those initiatives, support the fact that there is global warming that we have to deal with. And there are many states who are running out of water right now. And we need to be aware of those things, support initiatives that are gonna make it better, not just for the corporations, but better for the citizens.
So there are states that's running out of water?
Yes, there are states in the West that are running out of water. In fact, I don't know if you saw, there's a picture of all these boats. They had to move the boats because the water is getting so low that those boats would not be able to move, and they'd be damaged because they'd be hitting the bottom of this particular water stream.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they've been, remember last year there were forest fires, really bad forest fires. So it's real. It's like, it's not imagined. We're not imagining this. This is real. We have to deal with it.
You have anything to say, Ayana?
Oh, well, I'm just not too keen on all the problems that are happening. I just know that it's sad, and I wish that the companies that were like getting away with the behavior held some more accountability, so maybe we could change it. And maybe if we all started to work together economically with like I heard I watched what's his name, T-Pain's School of Business, and there was a business in New York who found out that they could make fabric and yarn and string through the plastic, and then make fabric through make the fabric yarn, and then make the yarn, the plastic yarn, and then make the yarn into fabric, and then make clothes from it. So it's like, if they have different companies out here that will recycle that plastic or redo something with those, just different stuff like that. It's like, why not bridge together and make more of those companies to help, so we can get rid of it instead of trying to dump it, because there's people out here that's trying. And then there's other people who just are so stuck in their ways. They're like, nope, instead of making that one phone call, we're just going to keep doing this until it catches up with us or our future, basically. So I think it's sad and it's stupid, but a lot of things, I don't really like the point of war either. So don't get me started. That's all I say.
Dr. Jones, what are your thoughts on the importance of life insurance? That's my other one.
Oh, wow. Well, there's two perspectives. You have to know yourself. If you put money away yourself in an account, the same money that you would put away for your life insurance, you would have millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars more by putting it away yourself than giving it to insurance. But if you have someone that's going to provide the discipline of an insurance policy, then that might be the method that you want to use. But it's to each whatever is in your best interest. But my wife is, again, my finance person at home, has been talking about that lately. Like, you can put a lot more money away yourself with interest on it than, you know, the insurance policy.
Personally, I feel like it's a waste of money, the policy part, only because you can just go plan it and pay money toward the actual burial or your cremation and all that stuff and take care of that and have your whole thing planned out. And then in a case of emergencies, you could have like a CD or some type of trust fund or stuff like that in place already that is more like towards saving and collect interest and things like that, more so than giving it to a company that says, based off this policy, we could keep your money, or we could give you part of it, or we could give you some of it, or you could wait a long time before you get this. So it's, I don't know, it's a gamble, but at the same time, I understand that some people need it, so I'm not against it. I just say personally, it's not my personal first go-to.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the person's choice.
Yeah.
But recognize what you also can do with your own money. Be in charge of your destiny, and that probably be the one of the ways that you can go, for sure.
All right, thank you for that. That's shout out to Miss Gillespie. She's big into that. You know, this global warming. Now that we done talked about it, it's really concerning me now. Remember what was it? The name of that movie was 2020. Remember that? Remember that movie?
I do. The one in New York where the water came and washed them away.
Yeah, that big ships like the arcs.
Yeah.
You know, with all these people on there. Dr. Jones, I always feel like sometimes these Hollywood put these movies out that kind of give us a little glimpse of the truth, but
Yes.
you have to really be reading between the lines. So when we think of that movie 2020, as far as this global warming, how accurate do you think that is, and do you think we ever get to that part? We may not be here, but do you think our kids will see it, or our grandchildren?
I think if we never change the direction that we're going in, we lost 4 years. The last 4 years, we could have still been working on it. So we need to get back on and partner with the rest of the people on the globe. We're not here by ourselves. We're here, you know, the human race across all nations need to be working toward this goal of bringing down the climate into a more stable situation. We're all a part of it. We all contribute. And what they call it, your footprint. What is your footprint, and how you, recycle, how you make sure that you're not using energy that doesn't need to be used. We're part of the solution. I know you've ever seen this map, but it's a map of who's using the most energy in the world. The United States is lit up. I mean, the whole country is basically lit up with light, and the rest of the world is in darkness. Like, compared to what the United States is using in energy, the rest of the world has like nothing. But we're the ones, we're the ones that need to pull back somehow.
Got a few fun questions for you, Dr. Jones. What's the best? I know we don't have physical albums, really. I don't know if you still have them, but what's the best album that you have in your collection right now that your go-to when you're relaxing that you want to throw on?
Crackers. Marvin Sapp. I like Marvin Sapp.
Okay.
I like
Marvin can definitely.
Are you a John P. Key fan?
And John P. Key as well. Yeah.
Okay.
New York. Absolutely. I have his album from way back. You know, he redid that song, and they had all the people involved in it. And
which one? Is it Stan?
Huh?
One of my favorites is called Stan.
No,
and it was a choir singing Stand for holiness, stand for righteousness.
Yes.
All right, sing.
Oh Lord.
I think my favorite from him is Do Your Dance. Do Your Dance. Y'all ever heard that one?
No.
Oh. Okay, that's a good one right there. Are you a Fred Hammond fan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is for Fred.
I guess they all kind of hang out together, huh? That's all of them together in a group like that. Just
That's a commission hookup right there. Sappin and Hammond.
don't forget Kirk in there too. He in the group.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvin Sapp, what is the song? I forget. They just recently had a video of, I think it was it Tennessee State? Was it one of the HBCUs? And they're singing his song, and they remixed it, and they are just jamming at the graduation.
Is it an older song?
Yeah.
Never would have made it.
Yes, never would have made it. If you
Okay.
fans, look that up. HBCU graduation. Never.
Okay.
You will just. I had to play it to myself like 20 times.
Oh.
So thrilled.
What's the last really good movie you've seen?
Okay, this is gonna sound crazy. I haven't even watched it yet, but Godzilla versus King Kong. I want to watch that movie. I want to see that movie. It's, I like action movies, so
That's a really good movie.
I want to get to that one.
Yeah, me and
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I seen the old school King Kong version on like a 4K TV. You could literally tell like the helicopters were toys. You could tell that the little strings were like Legos. You could tell the little smoke was fake. I was like, oh my goodness. And they tried to say this is Hollywood production right here. I was like, oh, they've been winging it too. They're just all hyping the talk.
that's still a classic. But yeah, there's a couple moments you can see like they're little toys.
Yeah.
But you know, Dr. Jones and Ayana, I had a great moment with my daughter. Me and my daughter went to see Godzilla and King Kong, and we're sitting in the movie theater, and you know, it was a pretty nice. You know, they had people kind of socially separated, but there was a nice amount of people in the theater. And I turned to her and I said, "Look around you." She looked, and I was like, you know, isn't it good to see this now after what we've come through?
Yeah.
We had so many people in the theater about to enjoy this movie together. Now here we are about to kind of go back into some semblance of normal life, and that was a nice little moment we shared together. You know, before the movie came on. And Dr. Jones, you're gonna enjoy that movie. They was throwing them big boys. Boy,
I can't wait. The other movie that I really like is Hidden Figures. With mathematicians and the astronauts.
I've never seen that one, but I heard. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not flying unless I get the figure from her. He was like, I don't care what y'all. And the amazing thing is they were called computers.
Yes.
The people were called computers.
Yes.
Never known that. Like,
Them 3 black women, human computers. Yes.
They were the computers.
Yes.
And I mean, just new math.
Taraji played that movie, by the way.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yes she did.
Yes, that was. It brought so much joy. It brought so much of the history. Also, when he came out, he knocked down the sign for colored women's bathroom, white women's bathroom. That she's running all the way across the campus in the rain and in storms. Probably did it in the snow. We didn't even see that. And wow, they wouldn't drink out of the same coffee.
But needed all of their wisdom, needed all of their help.
Yes, they did.
It's ridiculous. Did you see Judas and the Black Messiah?
Great movie.
I seen that one.
That
was my answer. That was the latest good movie I seen. I seen Mortal Kombat after, but that wasn't a good movie. And your question was,
I can't get into Mortal Kombat.
The movie wasn't good to me at all. I didn't explain anything. First of all, I didn't know they had movies with an S. I thought it was always a game. So when I sat down and watched this for the first time ever watching Mortal Kombat, I was like, I don't get it. I didn't like it. But Judas and the Black Messiah, sorry, that was good.
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Yeah, that was a good one right there. Oh,
you gotta rent it on Amazon. You can't find it nowhere else. They took that right off of HBO Max. You gotta go rent it off of Amazon and like pay for the whole thing. I paid for the whole thing because I couldn't find it nowhere else. But it was a good movie. It really talked about Fred Hampton and like how he started everything and what they really was doing on the ground, and like just the whole Black Panther Party and what they really stood for and how they really impacted people, and not so much the shoot 'em up, we're going to war, but like more so like we're feeding families every day, we're feeding kids every day. Like the kids can't learn because they're hungry, feed them, and like, you know, it just showed them like the logistics of, we see a problem in our community, so we're just gonna get our community to fix the problem. There's nothing wrong with that.
Rely on anybody else.
Yeah, and they didn't, and I think that's what got the attention, was like, you're not using me to help you, you're using each other. Shut the whole thing down. And that's kind of what it seemed like, because I think they're scared of like more Black Wall Streets happening. So every time we just want to come together and not go to them for help, it's like, no, we need gentrification right here.
I don't know whether you saw this, but there's a picture of the Black Wall Street and the insurrection, and they were talking about how others are treated. You know, they aren't. So if that had been African Americans, they would have put people on buses and they would have taken them to jail right away. It wouldn't have been a process. They wouldn't have missed anybody. They would have found everybody.
Right.
And so they always get a pass in what they do. And then the same thing with what happened in Black Wall Street. They got a pass. Whereas we're treated as less than. We're marching peacefully and we get tear gas and beat.
I was just telling him I see that treatment even with sports events. That's riot behavior, to be throwing food and drinks and spitting and tearing up the seats and stuff. All of that is riot behavior. No one's in there with them with tear gas and any of that. And I told him, I said, you could build the shield for the cashiers at the register, build a shield around the tunnel for the players, because you've seen over and over again that this has been a problem. It's been a problem. It's not just now. It's escalating now because we got social media, but they've been assaulting players left and right, saying crazy stuff and doing crazy stuff. So I think like they should have been thought of that. But you know, when you're looked at as entertainment and they pay you to dance, I guess they want you to dance in whatever the conditions are.
Imagine that legendary Texas Western minor team, the black team, you know, where the black starters that went undefeated that year. Well, they lost that one last game, but they won the championship, beat Kentucky. Remember that, Dr. Jones? Glory Road. That movie is all based on that. Yeah.
Gotta go watch it.
Many incidents of that.
Yeah. So,
I love how we're defiant though, because it's like no matter what we go through as a community of Black people, it's like we always find somebody like, nope, we're not taking that, and we don't, and then we overcome, and then like it's like, oh, we're over here doing this too, and we're over here doing this too. And my son, he believes he's going to be a firefighter astrophysicist. I don't care which one he does, as long as he does astrophysicist too, like in there somewhere. So even at 5, he walks around and is like, Mom, I know I'm gonna be an astrophysicist, but, and he tells me what else he wants to do, and I'm like, okay, you can do all of it. That's fine.
You can join the National Society of Black Engineers with him, and they provide all kinds of activities and games and
definitely gonna do
conferences and.
You said it was the National what?
National Society of Black Engineers. And as he begins to get, then you'll find out what activities are going on. Most cities have some kind of science or technology activities going on. If you have like a science center, we have a museum in Philadelphia that's a science center. So the more that you keep him, especially as he gets older into those teenage years, that don't let people distract him from his love from sciences. There's a lot out there. Just another organization called STEMfinity. And STEMfinity is on the internet. They have all kinds of games, robotics, projects. They have funding for students. So you want to try STEMfinity. It's just STEMfinity.com to get him, you know, engaged in those activities on an ongoing basis. Now they also have these companies that will send you a science kit every month.
Wow.
You know.
I bought him like 2 of them for Christmas, the glow in the dark one, and then I just bought him another one just to keep him up. But we play around with a lot of different things for science. He is into all of it. And then he told me one night about the solar system. Like, he just told me what he knew about the planets, and he went through all of them. I'm like, you're 3 years old. I didn't know you knew this. So I just been following his lead. But he's into it. That and dinosaurs, all history, the things that happened before what led up to it. So yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And just his math skills, like keep his math skills way up. You know, want to ask for special programs for math that he can learn more and not feel afraid or apprehensive.
Yeah.
And then when he gets really good, just have him tutoring other kids, because that helps him to do even better in it. And you know, then when he gets to high school, he can do calculus and all that. That's down the road.
I wish I knew how to get kids in the neighborhood into debate. I also want to see more of us into that, because I think I would have been a great debater.
So what city do you live in?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. Are there any, I don't know whether there are any HBCUs near you. Do you know of any? I don't know.
No.
But you might want to do is if there's any law schools near you.
It is some law school. Marquette is a good law school. Well, they have a good law school.
They may have undergraduate debating club there. And if you need mentors for some young people to help them and find out what kind of debating programs that they've been involved with when they were in high school, and then kind of go from there. I have one of my former students' daughter is a debating champion. Like, she's won all kinds of awards.
It's amazing.
Email, I'll put you in touch with her, and she could probably tell you a lot more than I can tell you.
Oh man, that is so amazing. Because I was thinking, if we got our neighborhood kids into debating and making it fun, maybe hip hop debating, and get them started, we can start raising our politicians that'll know in a local level, you know, what we need in these districts, and our aldermen, and something that can start to look like us. But we got to raise our kids to do it. And I'm just so interested in just that kind of growth, like not just lawyer, doctor, or rapper, you know, like let's start doing some other things, you know. So just interested in that kind of stuff. Thank you for the connection, though. I'll definitely be in touch about that.
Very well.
All right, so Dr. Jones, let us get your information as far as where the listener can find your books.
Jones Books.
Oh, yes. So again, go to my website, which is www.drjonesbooks.com. That's DRJONESBOOKS.com. You also can reach me by email at stephenjones@rcn.com. That's STEPHENJONESS@rcn.com. And certainly you can reach out to me by phone at 610-544-5480.
All right. Ayana?
I'm Ayana Jones. On social media, I'm Oprah Jones 17, and or you can look up Ayana Jones on Facebook. That's me.
All right.
So on all the social media, if you go to Instagram, I'm education_central. Both on LinkedIn and on Facebook, I'm Dr. Stephen Jones. STEPHEN, but I'm on both of those social medias as well.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Thank you, Ayana. It was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. And Doc, we're gonna reach back out to you around Thanksgiving or Christmas. We're gonna have you back. So I look forward to talking to you again then.
Yeah, and then I'll have to ask for Ayana's autograph, you know, after she has her big podcast, and I just Can't even
I'm
get
gonna actually reach out on LinkedIn because I love your book, and it does kind of go with the toxic recovery. Some of those questions could really help us out on the episode. So I'm gonna connect probably soon.
Okay.
You said my autograph. I'm sorry, I'm still cheesing from that. Anyway, yeah, I might connect sooner.
Okay, no problem. I'm always available.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Doc.
All right, enjoy your weekend.
All right,
You
you all.
too.
All
Have a
right,
good one.
bye-bye.
Bye.